Words of Sri Aurobindo from the book Letters on Yoga Part 1 from the Collective Works of Sri Aurobindo, Volume 28, page 166, Chapter 5, Topic The Lower Nature or Lower Hemisphere, Subtopic The Higher Nature and the Lower Nature. Sri Aurobindo says the lower nature is called lower because it is unenlightened. It can't be enlightened and changed by ignoring it. The higher has to be brought there. So one must speak of both, not of the higher alone. But why do you suppose that you alone are made up of the lower nature? Every earthly being is so made. The higher nature is there, but behind and above. It has to be brought forward from the inner being or brought down from the above constantly and persistently till the lower is changed. Next subtopic, the three planes of the lower hemisphere and their energies. Sri Aurobindo says there is a vital plane, self-existent, above the material universe which we see. There is a mental plane, self-existent, above the vital and material. These three together, that is, mental, vital, physical, are called the triple universe of the lower hemisphere. They have been established in the earth consciousness by the evolution, but they exist in themselves before the evolution, above the earth consciousness and the material plane to which the earth belongs. Sri Aurobindo says forces, moments, are not really planes but lines of consciousness or force which you may feel in that way, one over the other. The planes are planes of consciousness and its powers. In the mind, there is a mind of knowledge, higher mind, a mind of will, dynamic mind, a mind of thought, intellect, which are one above the other. And it is these you probably mean. They easily get covered when their forces come down into the ordinary mind, covered by the lower consciousness. Sri Aurobindo says it is not possible to give a name to all the energies that act in the being. They are put into several classes. First, are the mental thought energies, intelligence, dynamic mind, physical perceptive mind. The vital, the first emotional vital with all the emotional movements in it. Second, the central vital, the large desires, passions, ambitions, forces of work, possession, conquest. Third, the lower vital, all the small egoistic moments of desire, enjoyment, lust, greed, jealousy, envy, vanity, etc. Fourth, the physical energies concerned with the material life and its functioning, needs, outer action, instrumental fulfillment of the other powers. Sri Aurobindo says it cannot be explained accurately in a few words, but roughly thoughts are of the mind, emotions are of the heart, desires are of the vital. On the surface they are all mixed together, but behind they come from separate parts of the being. Next subtopic, the Adhara. Sri Aurobindo says the Adhara is that in which the consciousness is now contained. Mind, life, body. Sri Aurobindo says the Adhara means the mind, life and body as instruments of the expression of the being. The being is the conscious existence within which uses mind, life and body as its instrument of thought, feeling and action. But sometimes the word being is used to signify the whole, soul and nature together. Chapter 6, topic the mind, subtopic mind in the integral yoga and in other Indian systems. Sri Aurobindo says the mind in the ordinary use of the word covers indiscriminately the whole consciousness, for man is a mental being and mentalizes everything. But in the language of this yoga, the words mind and mental are used to connote specially the part of the nature which has to do with cognition and intelligence, with ideas, with mental or thought perceptions, the reactions of thoughts to things, with the truly mental movements and formations, mental, vision, and will, etc., that are part of his intelligence. The vital has to be carefully distinguished from mind, even though it has a mind element transfused into it. The vital is the life nature made up of desires, sensations, feelings, passions, energies of action, will of desire, reactions of the desire soul in man, and of all that play of possessive and other related instincts, anger, fear, greed, lust, etc., that belong to this field of the nature. Mind and vital are mixed up on the surface of the consciousness, but they are quite separate forces in themselves, and as soon as one gets behind the ordinary surface consciousness, one sees them as separate, discovers their distinct action, and can, with the aid of this knowledge, analyze their surface mixtures. It is quite possible and even usual during a time shorter or longer, sometimes very long, for the mind to accept the divine or the yogic ideal while the vital is unconvinced and unsurrendered and goes obstinately on its way of desire, passion, and attraction to the ordinary life. Their division or their conflict is the cause of most of the more acute difficulties of the sadhana. Sri Aurobindo says, I don't use these terms, manas, buddhi, etc., myself as a rule. They are the psychological phraseology of the old yoga. The term manas, etc., belongs to the ordinary psychology applied to the surface consciousness. In our yoga, we adopt a different classification based on the yoga experience. What answers to this moment of the manas, there would be two separate things. A part of the physical mind communicating with the physical vital. It receives from the physical senses and transmits to the buddhi. To some part or the other of the thought mind, it receives back from the buddhi and transmits idea and will to the organs of sensation and action. All that is indispensable in the ordinary action of consciousness. But in the ordinary consciousness, everything gets mixed together and there is no clear order or rule. In the yoga, one becomes aware of the different parts and their proper action and puts each in its place and to its proper action under the control of the higher consciousness or else under the control of the divine power. Afterwards, all gets surcharged with the spiritual consciousness and there is an automatic right perception and right action of the different parts because they are controlled entirely from above and do not falsify or resist or confuse its dictates. These are the words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo.